Hello, beautiful soul. It is your girl Esther Joy coming at you with another video. On this channel, we like to talk about love, light, joy, and peace. And if you like these vibrations, feel free to join the Good Vibes Delivery family and subscribe. Now, Good Viber, we're going to be talking about the 5 things I learned filling up my cup first. So, in the month of June 2025, I challenged myself to fill my cup up first, and I was pretty surprised at what I learned. This was actually a challenge. So I'm pretty excited to be diving into the 5 things I learned, and we're going to be going through it. And I hope that this video encourages you in your journey to really think about where you are filling your cup at this time and where you may need a little extra of that liquid love for yourself. So first off, I always thought this was weird, the saying, fill your cup up first, because it felt selfish. And I think, especially in the healing community, healers tend to put themselves in situations to help others and think very little of the risk that they may be putting themselves into. And this is seen a lot in the spiritual world, when you're pouring all of this love and energy to someone else who might not actually even want it. But that's a whole other story. That's a whole other cup of tea. Today we're going to be talking about filling your cup up and what that looks like, and how my experience was with really mindfully tackling this challenge. So I don't really have many rules when I do a monthly challenge. It's pretty simple. I just wanted to figure out how to fill my cup up more. I felt a bit drained and burned out. The month before, there was a lot going on. I spent my birthday with my partner in Barcelona, and then I had 3 days later my sister's baby shower, which was really cool and it was really awesome, but it was a lot, and it made me think I'm kind of exerting myself a lot for my loved ones, and I love them, but I need to take a step back and really have my energy right. So that's what kind of inspired this challenge for that month. So the first thing I learned, I'm gonna do my best. I just feel like it would be fun to have little texts, and this could be kind of silly, but anyways, we're gonna go with it. Because the first thing I learned, number 1, was that most people's default is not to fill themselves up first. So what do I mean by that? So I noticed when, after a couple of days of this challenge, somebody's gonna ask you to do something, and I think the first thing is oh yeah, I can do that. And then instinctively it's drop everything you're doing to go do that thing. And I felt that very strongly. I felt that happening a lot around me, and even in my own being. And I realized that this is just the default way things are. At work, if a supervisor tells you to do something, you kind of feel that urge to maybe drop what you're doing and go do that thing, when what you're doing may be actually more important and impactful for the organization. And so realizing this, it really got me thinking about how in society we also discourage people to fill their cups up first, because it can be seen as narcissistic and selfish and all of these negative things, which cause a lot of guilt and shame around filling your cup up first. And that leaves a really burnt out society that thinks it's okay to be on their last string, giving that last string to someone else instead of using it to haul themselves back into wholeness. So that's the first thing I noticed, and it was a pretty powerful realization. And once I started noticing it, I saw it a lot more. I saw the examples of somebody's asking for something, and immediately that person feels like they need to give it before they even finish filling up their cup. It was almost like a disruptor, that you have a moment to breathe, and then all of a sudden your attention or energy is being torn to something else, and you feel like you have to go, but in reality you still can finish the task that's at hand, which is filling your cup up. So I noticed that that was the default. If you're not aware of it, it's kind of discouraged to fill your cup up first. Not for nothing, just because I guess that's just the way perhaps it has been, and if nobody sets those boundaries, then that's how it can be for you. So yeah, number one was most people's default is discouraged to not fill their cups up first. They wait until their cup is totally empty and they're pretty much sick, and then it's kind of like the guilt that they're inflicting on others because they're so drained. They hope that people will take pity on them, and then they'll either somebody will give them something to fill their cup up, or just give them the space so that they can do that. Just assisting those that are in that default state, that are bringing awareness now and encouraging them so that they can move forward, feeling aware and free that they can choose to fill their cup up first. You can choose to fill up your cup first. So let's move on to the second thing I learned in this month-long challenge, which was, it's a habit. You have to practice. So I was also in that default mode of somebody asked me to do something, my supervisor, my parents, a friend, a sibling, some random person on the internet, and I felt like a lot of the times when I had a moment of peace and I was working on something that really filled up my cup was the moments where others felt like it was acceptable to come in and request something like, oh, you're filling up your cup, that means that you can fill up mine right now. And I'm gonna get to the now part, but it becomes a habit in which you practice realizing that you are in control of your energy and how you spend your time, and the space that you allow yourself to be in, and you can take time to finish filling up your cup, and then you can go fill others' cups. But it became a habit to make sure that I was feeling full before I went out to help others. And of course there were times where the situation actually was pretty urgent and I needed to go. So I totally understand in those times, like, I just had to do what I had to do and I had to go. So yeah, it is a habit. You have to practice this habit. You have to practice this routine of filling your cup up first, because the world isn't going to care, and they're going to want you to fill up its cup, and it's not going to care what your capacity is. It's constantly going to need and want, and it's up to you to have those boundaries and to create a routine out of filling your cup up first so that it then becomes your default. Yes, I'm snapping for myself. Thank you for joining. So number 3, this one is all about literally drinking water. If you have hydration next to you, hydrate, my friend, because literally drinking water is a powerful parallel for filling up your cup. I realized that I wasn't, like, especially at work, because I work as a horticulturist and it's kind of physically taxing. And especially in the summer now, that within the greenhouse can be like almost 40 degrees Celsius, like 120 degrees at one point. Inside there, it's like literally, it's very, very hot. And outside is like a great 90, 30 Celsius, 90 Fahrenheit. It's like hot. It's very hot. And we're working, so we have to find shade, but most importantly we have to drink a lot of liquids. And last year, if you have been watching me for a while, you may know that I passed out from dehydration, working at a garden for about 4 hours right after I broke a fast, and I wasn't drinking water while I was working. I was using water as a way to reward myself after I finished working, but that was a really bad idea, because as soon as we finished clearing an area of the plot, finished weeding out, I got up and I felt so dizzy, and my body finally felt like it could rest, but it was also so dehydrated. Like, all I could think of, like, I need to drink water. And I ended up passing out right in front of my car before I could get to my water bottle. And that was a really big realization of, not only was I exerting so much energy to the point where I was passing out and I could no longer even take care of the garden, because if something had happened, thankfully I'm okay. I did pass out on the cement, but I had already gone down on my knees, so it mitigated the fall. It was pretty scary, and the realization made me realize that, water is a big symbol for filling your cup up first, if not the best reminder. I don't think anybody, and if they are, you need to move out of that space and renounce the spirit of whatever is possessing that person from saying that you can't drink water, because anytime anybody is saying or requesting anything, have your beverage, have your water bottle, have your liquid of choice that is going to nourish and hydrate your body, have it near. So in those times where it feels, even before you feel exhausted, you can nourish and replenish yourself. So important, and it literally is a physical reminder. When you're taking that sip, you can just take a breather, just be present with yourself, your mind, body, and soul, and receive. Really give that time for yourself. And I find this really important, especially when you're in high intense environments that may be really demanding, to have a nourishing drink with you. I realize that I love, if I'm going, if I have a meeting, if I'm going online, if I'm working, whatever I'm doing, even going out for errands, always making sure that I have a water source nearby, some kind of water bottle, something to drink, just in case I get a little thirsty. I think it's just a great reminder again of that nourishment. You see the physical bottle, you drink it, and you can take that time and space to just fully be with yourself. So literally just drinking more water, drinking more liquids. I have lemonade today, is so good for you. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that the physical reality is so tied to the spiritual, the emotional, the mental. They're so intertwined with each other. So honoring that connection. And I think just drinking water is a really powerful way to do this. So if you're looking to fill up your cup, you better literally actually have a cup to fill up. Okay, well, I think that moves us on to number 4. So the fourth thing I learned about filling my cup up first was it ties into time management. Again, people are going to demand things from you. This thing is going to require time. Taking time for yourself is such an amazing way to fill your cup up first. But again, you want to find a balance where you're not being selfish with your time and you're not closing yourself off in ways that actually can be quite beneficial. And I'm going to give a bonus one. If you made it up to this one, then you definitely are getting a bonus thing that I learned at the end, like my field notes. But time management is so important. And the more I started paying attention to how I was filling up my cup, what I was consuming, what I was allowing in my field, and what I was giving, I realized that there is this like interwoven part of choosing how I spend my time, because certain activities were not actually filling up my cup, like sitting on my bed and reading a webtoon. That can fill up my cup for like a solid half an hour, but after that, then it actually becomes very draining. It becomes very draining to the point where it is a bit self-destructive. And I realized that the same applies to filling your cup. Sure, you can spend some time taking care of yourself, drinking water, doing these, little things that you need to maintain, but there comes a point and a time where it's like too much. Your cup is overflowing, and at that point, it's wasteful. So, time management is key to knowing when your cup is filled, when you're pouring it into others, when you're pouring it back into yourself, when it's empty. It's all tied to how you are spending your time, and I think that's just something I learned through this challenge. Like, it's okay. It's okay to spend your time sometimes on depleting tasks, because you spent the previous amount of time filling your cup up, and you got to spend that energy somewhere. So time management is totally tied to how you fill up your cup. And it's just like drinking water. It's like that metaphysical reminder of what you're doing with your space and how you're nourishing yourself, and what it really means to fill up your cup first. Spend time with yourself without needing other people. Go and take yourself on a little date, get a little cute drink, go to the beach, maybe bring an instrument and just sing a song. Don't feel like you have to record it or share it with anyone. Just do it for yourself. Sing in the shower. Like, doing these little things just for the sake of doing them and spending time with yourself to cultivate that relationship, it makes you want to share with others even more. It makes you want to share your time with others, because you spent time with yourself in a balanced way. That's kind of opened up this gate for you to look forward to filling other people's cups in the way that you filled your own. So, yeah, that's number 4. Alright, dang. We're gonna get to number 6. I'm pretty excited for it. It's gonna be tying a little bit more into filling others people's cups, but number 5 is kind of similar to this, in the fact that people will respect you more, and it will remind them to fill their own cup. So, at first I was a little nervous that filling up my own cup again, I had all of these negative notations that it was selfish. Nobody really wants anybody. Like, you're just doing this for yourself, and there's no real benefit to the collective. And then I started realizing how, when people were asking me to do something, like, hey, go clean this out, or can you help me with this? And when I actually had a valid, I would be like, yeah, I can help fill your cup up, but first let me finish filling up mine. And again, with time management, having clear, defined routines and rituals that were doing so. So if somebody was like, hey, can you help plant these things, I'd be like, sure, absolutely, let me finish cleaning out my desk first. So these are like little things of realizing that people actually respect. They now realize that you have, like, it's kind of like this reminder of like, oh yeah, this person actually has other responsibilities and other things that they can do with their time. They're not just like waiting around for me to tell them to do something. So it kind of like sends this message to the other person that like maybe they're not free all the time when I need them, and I should be more mindful of what I'm asking them to do. And secondly, it reminds them, like when you're saying, yeah, let me just finish filling my cup up first and then I'll come fill yours up, it will kind of remind them like, oh, they're filling their cup up, I should fill my cup up. And it becomes this like beautiful reminder that you don't even have to say something. It just, they're like, oh, you're clearing off your desk, I should clear off my desk as well. And and it's a really beautiful thing that happens. You know, you're like, without even having to do the effort of filling someone else's cup, it's like whatever overflow, and if they see that you're filling your cup up, it just goes, and they fill theirs. So I did notice that it was pretty cool to see, like, you know, prioritizing my time and being more mindful with how I'm spending it, and communicating that to others, and then them being inspired to that fill their cup up a little bit more mindfully and be respectful of my time, because they see that I really do value how and where and I spend my energy. So I like that one. That one was pretty good. So yeah, I said that I have a bonus one, and that is number 6. That these are really just going to be a few field notes or rambling of, you know, the things I didn't really think were noteworthy, but were still really impactful, that I learned throughout this process. Throughout the whole process, I wasn't even sure how to fill up my cup to begin with. I wasn't sure what that would look like for me, and I think it's important to say that it's going to be different for every single person, because your soul may need different spaces to be in, to dwell in, but space is really important. I think a big part of filling up the cup is not to rush the process of feeling fulfilled in some way or feeling whole, but to literally just dwell in this space of trusting that this is where you can rest and you're doing your best. And those small affirmations and encouragement and just dwelling in this space was so helpful. And it was so impactful to see how, and this is bonus, I guess you could say, bonus number 6, how impactful it was for other people when I started to manage my time. And I actually read a book, it's called The One Thing, and in it talks about like 4 hours that you should spend on your craft, like the one thing. And I, at first when I read that, I was like, 4 hours is a lot of time. And then I started doing the calculations, and I started really investing in this, finding that it's possible. Even if you're working a full-time job and you have other responsibilities, it is still possible. It does take some effort, and it does take you to be very clear and, like, what's the word, when you're like going for it. You gotta go for it. You gotta be proactive. Yeah, you gotta be proactive, and you really have to be mindful of your time and how you feel it, and know that, yeah, you can still pour into your cup while you're taking care of others. You can spend time with others, and this is the real kicker, and the real bonus is that when you're pouring your cup, your discernment grows in terms of, you know what empties your cup and you know what fills it up. And certain people, places, and situations are going to fill up your cup. And so when you pour into those people, places, and situations, you are, in retrospect, filling up your own cup, because they will fill back yours. And that was a big realization I had with, you know, certain tasks at work fill my cup up. Certain people and conversations fill my cup up. And so by me being proactive in seeking these experiences, these people's, these conversations, I know that I'm going to be pouring into someone else, but they're also going to be pouring into me, and it makes the process that much easier. So yeah, that is what I have learned from filling up my cup first. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, feel free to give a big thumbs up so that I know so, and can continue to make more videos like this one. Next month, which I'm currently in the process of, it's gonna be a fun one, and I'll leave that as a surprise. But if you've ever struggled with filling up your cup, or you've succeeded very well with filling up your cup. What did that look like? I'd love to know. Feel free to share in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. God bless. Namaste.